For almost 20 years, football has been split into two sides, not by clubs, not by countries, but by two names: Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. Debate, countless arguments, billions of opinions. Who is the greatest footballer of all time? For years, the debate has been fought using Champions League trophies, Ballon d'Or awards, league titles, career goals, assists, records, and statistics from club football. But today, we're putting all of that aside, because there is only one competition, where legends don't just become champions, they become immortal. The FIFA World Cup, the biggest sporting event on earth. The dream every footballer has before they ever sign a professional contract. A tournament that comes only once every 4 years. One mistake can end a nation's dream. One magical moment can define an entire career. For Lionel Messi, it became the missing piece of an extraordinary legacy. For Cristiano Ronaldo, it became the one mountain he kept trying to climb. Over the last 20 years, both men have walked onto football's biggest stage. 6 different times, they've played against the world's best, carried the hopes of entire nations, broken records that once seemed impossible, and produced moments that millions of football fans will never forget. But here's something most people don't realize. Although Messi and Ronaldo have played in the exact same number of World Cups, their journeys couldn't have been more different. One became a world champion. The other became the first player in history to score in 6 different FIFA World Cups. One owns the records for the most World Cup goals, the most assists, the most goal contributions, and the most appearances. The other built a legacy defined by longevity, consistency, and an ability to keep making history well into his 40s. So today, we're not asking who had the better club career. We're not comparing Ballon d'Ors. We're not counting Champions League trophies. Instead, we're investigating one question: who has had the greater FIFA World Cup career? And we're going to answer it. Begin. Germany, 2006. Let's go back to where it started. The year is 2006. Facebook has just opened to the public. YouTube is a year old. And 2 young footballers are about to walk onto the biggest stage in the world for the very first time. Lionel Messi is 18. Cristiano Ronaldo is 21. Neither of them has won a Ballon d'Or. Neither of them is a global superstar yet. They're not there to lead their countries. They're there to introduce themselves. Messi barely plays. Argentina already has its stars: Riquelme, Crespo, Saviola, and the teenager is an afterthought, a bonus. But when he finally comes off the bench against Serbia and Montenegro, he scores, becoming the youngest Argentine ever to score at a World Cup. Then comes the moment that still haunts Argentine football: the quarterfinal against Germany. 90 minutes, extra time, a penalty shootout, and Lionel Messi never leaves the bench. One of the greatest what-ifs in World Cup history, and we will never know the answer. Ronaldo's tournament looks completely different. Already a starter, already a leader, he scores against Iran and helps carry Portugal to the semi-finals, their best finish since 1966. Along the way, he becomes British tabloid enemy number 1. After cameras catch what looks like a wink toward Portugal's bench right after his Manchester United teammate Wayne Rooney gets sent off. The verdict on Germany: Ronaldo's team went further. But an 18-year-old who barely played had just shown the world something extraordinary was coming. Neither of them knew it yet, but they had just begun a rivalry that would define football for 20 years. South Africa, 2010. For years change everything. By 2010, Ronaldo has just completed a world record transfer to Real Madrid. Messi has just won the treble with Barcelona and a Ballon d'Or. The question isn't, are they good anymore? It's bigger. Can they dominate a World Cup? In South Africa, Messi plays under his manager, Diego Maradona. Every touch compared to a ghost. He's brilliant, completing more dribbles than almost anyone in the tournament. But the ball won't go in. For the only time in his career, Messi finishes a World Cup without a single goal, and Argentina fall to Germany, 4-0, in the quarterfinals. Ronaldo scores once, against North Korea, but Portugal can't create enough. Spain, the eventual champions, end their run in the round of 16. 2 disappointing tournaments. 2 players still searching for the moment that would define them. That moment was closer than either of them realized. Brazil, 2014. By the summer of 2014, this wasn't a rivalry anymore. It was the biggest debate in world sport. Messi and Ronaldo had won every Ballon d'Or since 2008 between them. But one criticism followed both men everywhere they went. They've never truly owned a World Cup. This was the tournament that was supposed to answer that. Messi arrived as Argentina's captain, 27, for Ballon d'Ors deep, and for the first time, looking like he was there to lead, not just to play. He scored the winner against Bosnia, rescued Argentina with a stoppage-time strike against Iran, scored twice against Nigeria. Then came the knockout rounds, the matches where legends are actually made. Against Switzerland, scoreless deep into extra time, penalties minutes away, Messi burst through midfield, drew 3 defenders, and slipped the perfect pass to Angel Di Maria. Goal. Argentina survived. Against the Netherlands, penalties, Messi stepped up first and scored. Argentina were in the final, their first since 1990. Argentina against Germany. The Maracana. Over 1 billion people watching. For 113 minutes the game hung on a knife's edge. Higuaín missed, Palacio missed, and then Mario Götze scored. Germany were champions. Argentina were broken. And Messi, 90 minutes from becoming a world champion, walked past the World Cup trophy without touching it. Cristiano Ronaldo was fighting a different battle entirely. Carrying a knee injury that never healed, he watched Portugal lose their opener to Germany, 4-0. He scored a late winner against Ghana and set up a goal against the United States, but it wasn't enough. Portugal were eliminated in the group stage. For the first time in his career, Ronaldo didn't even reach the knockout rounds. Messi finished with 7 matches, 4 goals, a World Cup final, and the Golden Ball. Ronaldo finished with 3 matches, 1 goal, and silence. For the first time, the gap between them wasn't small. It was enormous. But football has a habit of flipping the script. And 4 years later, in Russia, it did exactly that. Russia, 2018. If you wanted to script the perfect World Cup opener, you couldn't beat what Ronaldo did against Spain. For minutes in, he wins a penalty and scores. Spain fight back, Portugal respond, and then, in the dying minutes, 30 yards from goal, he bends a free kick into the top corner. A hat trick. At 33, Ronaldo becomes the oldest player in history to score a World Cup hat trick. For one glorious week, it felt like his tournament. Messi's began the opposite way, in disaster. A missed penalty against Iceland. A humiliating 3-0 defeat to Croatia. An entire country questioning his leadership. Then, needing a win against Nigeria just to survive, Messi delivered. A perfectly timed run, 1 touch, a composed finish. One of the finest goals of his career, in the match that mattered most. The reward for surviving. France, led by a 19-year-old nobody outside France had heard of 2 years earlier. His name was Kylian Mbappé. Within 24 hours of each other, both legends were eliminated in the round of 16. Portugal lost to Uruguay. Argentina lost to France, 4-3, in one of the wildest matches in World Cup history. Final tally, Ronaldo 4 goals, Messi 1. Statistically, Ronaldo's best World Cup ever. But after that magical opening week, Portugal scored only once more before going home. Messi's tournament started in chaos and nearly clawed its way back to something extraordinary. One story started brilliantly, then faded. The other started in disaster, then slowly came alive. And the next World Cup would decide everything. Qatar, 2022. By the time Qatar arrived, Messi was 35. Ronaldo was 37. Almost everyone on Earth believed this was their final World Cup. Ronaldo entered carrying more pressure than ever. Weeks earlier, an explosive interview criticizing Manchester United had made him the story before a ball was kicked. Against Ghana, he converted a penalty and became the first player in history to score in 5 different FIFA World Cups. Then everything changed. A teenager named Goncalo Ramos scored a hat-trick in his place, and the manager made one of the most stunning decisions of the tournament. Ronaldo was benched. A man who had carried Portugal for nearly 2 decades, watching the biggest matches of his life from the sidelines. Portugal reached the quarterfinals, ran into Morocco, and lost. Ronaldo walked down that tunnel in tears, without ever once reaching a World Cup final. Messi's tournament almost ended before it began. Argentina's opener against Saudi Arabia turned into one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history. A 2-1 loss that left their whole campaign hanging by a thread. What followed was the greatest knockout run of his life. A must-win goal against Mexico, another against Poland. Then in the knockouts, a goal against Australia, a goal and an assist against the Netherlands in one of the greatest World Cup matches ever played, one on penalties, a goal against Croatia, plus a dribble so humiliating to Josko Gvardiol, it's still being replayed today, setting up Julian Alvarez for the kill. Argentina were in the final for the second time in Messi's career. Against France. Messi against Mbappe, the old king against the new one. Messi scored, Mbappe answered. Messi scored again in extra time, Mbappe answered again. 3-3. Penalties. Argentina held their nerve. Lionel Messi fell to his knees, a world champion. 16 years, 5 World Cups, and every piece of criticism ever thrown at him. Gone, in an instant. Messi finished with 7 goals, 3 assists, a second golden ball, and the one trophy that had eluded him his whole career. Ronaldo finished with 1 goal and a broken heart. Almost everyone assumed that was the end of the story. Almost everyone was wrong. North America, 2026. If someone had told you back in 2006 that these two men would still be playing World Cup football 20 years later, you wouldn't have believed them. Legends fade. Bodies slow down. New generations take over. Messi and Ronaldo never read that script. When the 2026 World Cup kicked off, Messi was 39 years old. Ronaldo was 41. Together, they were about to complete something no other pair of players in history has ever done: 6 FIFA World Cups each. Ronaldo made history almost immediately. A goal against Uzbekistan made him the first player ever to score in 6 different FIFA World Cups. 20 years, 6 tournaments, and he kept finding the net. Portugal advanced from the group stage, but their story ended in the round of 16, beaten 1-0 by Spain on a stoppage-time winner. Ronaldo has since confirmed it. That was his last World Cup. 27 appearances, 11 goals, and a record that may never be broken. Messi wasn't just competing at 39, he was dominating. He broke the all-time World Cup scoring record outright, passing the legendary Miroslav Klose. Then, in the semi-final against England, he didn't even need to score. 2 assists in a stunning late comeback, sending Argentina into a 3rd World Cup final. It's unfortunate that Messi couldn't win the World Cup final against Spain, but as of now Messi has taken his country Argentina to 3 World Cups finals, and that is the most any player has ever done. Messi has finished this tournament with 33 goal contributions across 33 matches, more than any player in the history of the World Cup. Before we get to the final verdict, there's one more piece of this story that most people overlook completely. Football only ever remembers the goal. But every goal starts somewhere. A pass, a run, a moment of vision. This is where their stories quietly diverge in a way the scoring stats alone don't capture. Across 6 World Cups, Ronaldo has provided 2 assists. Messi has provided 12, the most in tournament history. Combined goals and assists, and Messi has been directly involved in 33 World Cup goals. Ronaldo, 13. A gap of 20. That gap exists because these two men played different roles entirely. Ronaldo evolved into a penalty box finisher, economical, explosive, built for one decisive touch. He didn't need 100 passes. He needed 1 chance, and he took it. Messi never stopped being involved in the build-up. He dropped deep, started attacks, created space for others, and then, more often than not, finished the move himself. The pass to Di Maria in 2014. The assist that split the Dutch defense in 2022. The dribble that broke Gvardiol before setting up Alvarez. The 2 assists against England in 2026, when he didn't need to score to change the game at all. Ronaldo's greatness was turning half chances into goals. Messi's was building the chance and finishing it himself. One was the ultimate finisher. The other became both architect and executioner. So here we are, 20 years, 6 World Cups each. One question left. When you isolate the World Cup, and only the World Cup, who had the greater career? Let's lay out the evidence one final time. Messi played 33 World Cup matches, Ronaldo 27. Messi scored 21 goals, the most in men's World Cup history, to Ronaldo's 11. Messi provided 12 assists, also the most ever, to Ronaldo's 2. Combined, Messi contributed directly to 33 goals. Ronaldo, to 13. In the knockout rounds, the matches that actually define legacies, Messi scored 13 goals and created 6 more. 19 contributions in the games where one mistake ends everything. Ronaldo, across 20 years and 6 tournaments, scored 1 knockout goal. 1. Messi reached 3 World Cup finals and won 1. Ronaldo never reached a final at all. His best finish remains the semi-final in his very first tournament back in 2006. By almost every number that exists, the evidence points in one direction. But this story was never only about numbers. Because Cristiano Ronaldo owns something that belongs to him alone. The first player in the history of football to score in 6 different FIFA World Cups. 2 decades of relevance. 2 decades of discipline. 2 decades of refusing to disappear, long after most athletes in any sport would have walked away. That isn't a consolation prize. That's one of the most remarkable achievements the sport has ever produced. One man turned the World Cup record book into something with his name on almost every page. The other refused to let the tournament forget him, era after era, deep into his 40s. The evidence points to Lionel Messi. But the story of the World Cup would never be complete without Cristiano Ronaldo. Because greatness isn't only measured by the trophies you carry home. Sometimes it's measured by the standard you set for everyone who comes after you, and by the millions of kids around the world who fell in love with this game because they were watching you play it. 2 men, 1 era, 20 years of pushing each other somewhere no one else could follow. And somewhere out there, right now, a kid is watching football for the very first time, about to fall in love with the game because of what these 2 men built. Some debates never truly end. They simply become history.